All right, everyone, if you're heading into Class 9, you need to listen up. NCERT has just dropped a massive syllabus update for the new academic session. And trust me, it's a complete game changer. So let's jump right into this shakeup and figure out what it all means for you.
You know the drill, right? You just grab your older brother's or sister's textbooks to save a little time and money. Well, for this new session, that's not going to fly anymore. The syllabus has been changed so dramatically that those old books and past papers just aren't going to cut it.
So you're probably asking, okay, what's the big deal? Well, this isn't just a minor edit, adding or removing one little chapter. We are talking about major revisions in maths, science, social studies, and English. In some subjects, they've thrown out the old textbooks entirely. Let's break down exactly what you need to be ready for.
Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of each subject, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. NCERT has structured this whole new syllabus into 3 main buckets. You've got languages, then your core subjects, that's your maths and science, and finally you have skill-based subjects. For this explainer, we're going to zero in on that super important second part, the core subjects.
First up, let's tackle the one that often makes us all sweat a little bit, mathematics. And believe me, there are some pretty substantial changes here. We're talking more chapters and a totally new way of testing your knowledge. Here's the big headline for maths. The old syllabus, it had 12 chapters. The new one, it has 15. Yep, you heard that right. They've added 3 whole new chapters. That's a serious increase in the amount of material you're going to need to cover.
And these new topics aren't just more of the same old stuff. No way! We're talking about pretty advanced concepts like arithmetic and geometric progressions, stuff that you usually wouldn't touch until class 10 or even 11. It's a clear signal that the difficulty level is definitely going up.
So you're probably wondering how they expect everyone to handle this. Well, here's the answer. A brand new 2-level assessment system. Everybody has to clear the proficiency level, but if you really want to push yourself, there's an optional advanced level. And the new NCERT textbooks, they're being designed from the ground up to support both.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about science. And just to be clear, this isn't a small adjustment. It's a major revamp across physics, chemistry, and especially biology, with a much more integrated feel.
Now, at first glance, this might look like great news. The total number of chapters in science has actually dropped from 12 to 11. But, and this is a big but, don't let that fool you. The real story is hidden in the details of what's been added, what's been removed, and what's been shuffled around inside each subject.
Let's start with physics. The entire chapter on gravitation, it's gone. But they've added some really practical topics on simple machines. Pulleys, levers, that kind of thing. And they've slotted them right into the work and energy chapter. In fact, the chapter's new name is Work, Energy, and Simple Machines, to show just how important that new focus is.
Chemistry is following a very similar playbook. The chapter Matter in Our Surroundings has been completely dropped. But the chapters that are left, like Structure of the Atom and Atoms and Molecules, have been expanded. They're packed with new topics to make them way more in-depth.
Now, biology, this is where things get really wild. This is probably the biggest shakeup of all. The chapter Improvement in Food Resources is out, but taking its place are 2 brand new chapters. Diversity, which is making a comeback, and get this, reproduction, a huge topic that's been pulled down from the Class 10 syllabus. So biology now has 4 chapters instead of just 3.
Okay, let's round out our tour of the subjects with the updates for English and social studies. The main story here isn't about adding complex new topics. It's about complete overhauls and some serious trimming down.
So, the biggest change in English by far is in literature. It's been totally revised. The old Beehive and Moments textbooks, they're gone. You're going to be studying from a brand new book called Cbse. So yeah, those old hand-me-downs are totally useless here.
The writing section is getting a facelift too. Now, your core grammar skills are still going to be super important, but there's a new, heavy emphasis on things like writing persuasive essays, doing literary analysis, and even some basic research writing. It's all about getting you ready for more advanced work down the road.
Over in social studies, or SST, we've got some good news, especially for anyone who finds the subject a bit lengthy. The total number of chapters has been cut from 20 all the way down to a much more manageable 16. That's a really noticeable trim.
So, how do those 16 chapters break down? Well, as you can see, it's pretty well balanced. You get 1 introductory chapter to start things off, then it's 4 chapters each for history, geography, and economics, and a slightly leaner 3 chapters for political science. The whole thing feels much more streamlined.
So,
With all these changes in maths, in science, in English, in SST, it's pretty clear that the old way of studying just isn't going to cut it anymore. It's time for a completely new playbook. So, what do you actually need to do to succeed?
Here are the 3 most crucial things you need to do, like right now. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable. You have to get the new NCRT books. They're absolutely essential. Step 2, be really careful about relying on old question papers. The content has changed too much. And finally, Step 3, you need to adapt your study habits to really dig into these more advanced topics, especially in math and science.
Look, there's no doubt about it. This new syllabus is tougher, it's more complex, and it demands a fresh start from everyone. NCERT has completely changed the game, so the only question that's left is, are you ready to play?